Welcome to Leland's Logic. I am Leland Ship, your host, and we are more than at a crossroads in America, folks. Listen, there are many factors which have directed us to this position in which we are in. And before I get into our economy, I want to slay the elephant in the room, which is the Department of Justice, whose Federal Bureau of Investigation might have put undercover agents in churches to develop informants in order to identify and stop what they called the threat of domestic terrorism by radical traditional Catholics. Or you might as well go ahead and say radical traditional Christians, as I feel pretty confident before this investigation is completed, I am sure we will find out it was churches in general, not just Catholic churches. This is no different than how they have come after traditional parents, particularly traditional conservative parents, and more like conservative Christian traditional parents, if you will. It's an embarrassing day. It's a sad day. And now, going back to those FBI agents and churches. Churches were the backbone of this country at one time, but are not now. But listen, one has to ask themselves, what are they really after? I mean, being on the outside of the government and you're able to sit and not be just flabbergasted like those in Congress, which makes it easier to think a little clearly from the outside in, and I hope that makes sense, because we're not right in it, but they are really after those who they want to take out or eliminate altogether. Now, who could that be? And I'm going to tell you, conservative traditional Christians, conservative traditional parents, or the conservative Christian traditional parents. Do you see how that's flowing there? And I hope that our representatives see that too. I really do. I hope and pray they see that too. And listen, anytime you have people lying and answering no when the true answer is yes, and then a U.S. congressman like Jim Jordan easily finds the redacted emails and finds that the person who was answering questions was not being totally forward or telling the truth, that is just another opportunity which breaks trust. This is one topic by itself. This one topic by itself is very disturbing and alarming, but we have an entire show full of these kinds of topics. So, with that, we're going to move along and we're going to talk about the United States economy. How do you think our economy is doing? And I just want to share, afford me to be able to share a few facts about our economy. You know, the one Joe Biden prides himself in, the economy that Joe Biden says is doing so great because he himself did it. The hourly earnings are falling like a rock, meaning very quickly. The credit card use is dropping where they had been being used left and right. People are cutting back on extra expenses and are starting to save their money where they can. So people are digging into the trenches, preparing for what is coming, folks. And listen, our jobs market is poor. The National Manufacturing Report is poor. Everything points towards things getting really bad, really fast in the United States economy. Not to mention now that inflation continues to shoot the moon. We are barreling towards a recession, folks. Everything is constricting faster. And look, even the United States overtime hours are free-falling to register as non-existent. The economy is looking just awful to me, if you want to know the truth. And where is Joe Biden? Where is Joe Biden? He's probably in the basement eating his chocolate chip ice cream. Now, I want to turn my focus to the President of the United States specifically. Now, this will be something, this is definitely going to be something that you will all want to pay attention to, and it's time to connect some dots. Let me lead into this topic by saying that Joe Biden, in his first year as president, only did 22 press conferences versus President Donald Trump, who did 92 press conferences in his first year in office. Just a little bit of a difference, right? By 70. Then his staff and the few that are willing to say that they still support Joe Biden tell us how great his transparency is, his clarity. What do you think about that? What do you think about Joe Biden's transparency? And please put it in the comments, as what you have to say is very important to me, and I think it's interesting that we should all be just speaking out. But it is true. Now, there has been a confidential intelligence leak up in Washington, D.C., out of the Pentagon. And what do you think the scariest part about the leak of confidential information is? It's that Joe Biden nor his administration knows how it happened or who did it. They know nothing. Yes, this sums up the Joe Biden presidency fiasco quite well, right there. However, things are worse than this, folks. And we're going to get into this. It's very much on my mind. While all of these different messes have been occurring, okay, China has been busy strengthening its military. China has been busy strengthening its economy. China has been busy working on their standing and their relationships on the world stage. China has tactfully placed new military installations in strategic locations around the world in order to not just make a chance at taking on Taiwan, mind you. Oh no! They have bigger things in their sights. China wants war. China wants to take us out. They want to beat us. And here we sit, unprepared for anything. A president that can't even fight his way out of a wet paper sack. Our military is depleted and has been weakened greatly under Joe Biden's leadership, along with everything else. And now, speaking of Joe Biden's weaknesses, Joe Biden's weakness has been revealed for all of the world to see. Joe Biden's weakness has us in an extremely vulnerable position here in the United States of America. The China spy balloon incident was embarrassing and revealed more of Joe Biden's weakness. The Russians shooting down our drone incident, along with our lack of response to it. We just sat on our hands, folks. Just sat on our hands and did nothing. Again, just showing a continuous sign that America is weak to the entire world. And it's due to Joe Biden and his pitiful as well as weak ability. Make no mistake, the United States of America is not viewed as a world superpower anymore. We are viewed as weak. We are viewed as old. We are viewed as incapable. We are viewed that we have an inability to lead. And so much so that now France, who, when they have been in need or in trouble, the United States of America has always showed up and helped them out. The president of France has stabbed us in the very back by not only saying they want to work with China, but when he flew there and met with China, he referenced the United States dollar and how the world should utilize other currency so they are not slaves to the United States. Joe Biden, Mr. Diplomacy, in a time when he should be repairing America's standing on the world stage. What is Joe Biden doing? Joe Biden is preparing to go on a little getaway to Ireland, probably to assist his own family in getting richer or something along those lines, rather than doing his damn job. Listen, we the people deserve better than this. We deserve better leadership than this. And they are hiding Biden from everybody in a time when we need a true leader-in-chief. Not that Biden can do that, mind you. Because at this juncture, the amount of weakness that has been revealed and portrayed to the world has placed all of us in danger here in the United States of America. It's sad. Look, China has their own interest in mind. Make no doubt about that. No bones about it. They have their own interest in mind. China has their sights on a big, big fish, the United States of America. And this is serious, folks. This is dire, folks. And I got a question. Do you remember in the original Top Gun movie where Maverick bails out and disengages the enemy in the end climax fighter fight and flies away from that dogfight? Do you remember that? And Commander Stinger says, Reddy Simpkins and the other fighter pilot on 2 and 3. And when they hear this, they get on the phone and they reply back that those catapults are not working, sir. They are working on them. And then the commander says, how long? And they respond, 10 minutes, sir. And Commander Stinger replies, BS 10 minutes. This will be over in 2 minutes. Get on it. That is where we are on the world stage right now, folks. Look, I have not yet mentioned the aligning of Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, now France and Europe. That has and is happening. And that escalates things to about DEFCON 5, I would say. And now think about how the China spy balloon was just allowed to float in U.S. airspace forever before Joe Biden reacted to it. The wheels have fallen off a long time ago with the Biden administration. Do you think that the United States of America is the world leader? Is the United States of America strong? Do you see how we are imploding from within in our beloved nation and country? We have bad leadership running this country. It is game time. That's a good way to put it, I guess. Who's going to step up in order to ensure that the United States of America establishes not only its standing on the world stage, but its state of well-being in its own country, in its own nation? There's a lot of work to be done in this country, which we all love so very much, right? And we need to bring back law and order. We need to bring back real blind justice. We need to eliminate all of this woke culture, which is tearing down the very institutions that have made this country so great. Well, there you have it. Leland's logic. And hey, I will see you where the rubber hits the road.